These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Hey weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Quarantine Morbid. To the pod lab.
This is COVID-19 time morbid.
This is not fun.
No, it's not, guys. And it's not even that, we don't even have it that bad because things are still open.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, oh my God, this is so hard. Like I can still get deliveries. I can still go to Target if I really want to. I'm not, but
right.
We could.
The option is there.
We can go get a Starbucks drive-through. It's really not that, that bad, but it just sucks because things are starting to get canceled and moved and, it just sucks. I don't like it.
Like we had shows that we were supposed to go to that got postponed and now I'm like
bunch of
crying.
Shows. A bunch of shows so far that we were planning on going to, we had tickets to, are now being moved. I had tickets for John to see Lake Street Dive for his birthday, and that's being moved to the end of the year.
We had tickets to meet Stassi Schroeder.
Oh, don't even remind me.
We have tickets. We were supposed to go to, and that's why we drink.
This is, first world problems of the highest order.
Yeah, we're being absolute douchebags right now.
It sucks, and
the important thing is that
we're still here,
flattening the curve.
Yeah.
Stay inside your fucking house. You don't need to go anywhere. Lysol your delivery, and soon this will all be over, I hope.
Flatten that curve, guys. And just by the way, quick little side note, don't listen to any of these like cures for it or these like things that are being touted as things that are going to stave it off or to help you if you already have it. Just don't listen to that stuff until the CDC comes out, until like actual scientists and doctors confirm these things. Just be very wary. And also, everybody make sure you're looking at your local like state police pages if you can, because there's a ton of scams going around. I know there was like some rumor in Massachusetts that people would show up at your house in like hazmat suits and say they had to come in and like do a test.
Oh, that's so scary.
And then they'll tie you up and rob you.
Oh.
So there's no actual reports of that happening, but it's a rumor that went around. So the state police were like, by the way, don't let people into your house that are in hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is coming to your house from the state. So just make sure you're paying attention to your state police. Listen to what they have to say. Make sure you're looking at official pages. Just be wary, everybody, because I don't want anybody getting in, you know, being hurt or being scammed in this shitty time we're all living in. So,
yeah, no, that sucks.
you know, just stay, you know, Corona legit, okay?
Yeah, wash your fucking hands and stay legit.
Stay legit.
All right, guys. So we do have to announce some of our shows and get you up to date with that. So we were supposed to be at the Punchline Comedy Club in Philadelphia on April 14th. Unfortunately, April 14th, we are not going to make it because Corona. We are.
It is being postponed. It is not canceled.
Yep, we're in the works of getting that rescheduled. So
Yes.
it's absolutely being rescheduled. We're just nailing down a date.
Yeah, and we have a date. It's just not absolutely. We just want to make
not
sure
set
it's
in
official,
stone.
so we don't want to release it yet. But every single date that we say is going to be rescheduled, your tickets are going to transfer.
They'll be honored.
So just know that, and know we can't wait to see you either
Yes.
way. But we wish we were seeing you sooner.
I know. If you already have tickets to Punchline Comedy Club, whatever the rescheduled date is, those tickets will be accepted.
Yeah, and just hang tight because we'll let you know as soon as we know. You will know right when we know.
Same thing with the DC Improv. That was supposed to be the very next night, April 15th. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Again, working on getting that date set in stone. Your tickets will be honored.
Yep, your tickets are going to be honored for
I
those
asked,
ones.
I'm like, will they?
And if the new dates don't work for you, you know, refunds or something where you know, you'll be working out with the actual venues and stuff. But just know that tickets are going to transfer and new dates are coming. They are not being canceled.
Yes. As of now, we're still supposed to go to CrimeCon. I believe that's the first week in May.
And CrimeCon, as of right now, is still happening.
Let's just leave it at that. Let's just put that into the universe.
Let's throw it in the universe that Corona just dips after that.
Fucking
just
dip right out of here.
Just see you later, because I want to come to CrimeCon.
Me too. And we're supposed to be in Nashville. No, sorry, I skipped over something. We're supposed to be in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. We want
May
to see
6th.
you.
Yes.
So
And
these are the ones that are still happening. They're not postponed yet.
Yep.
So hang tight.
May 6th, Huntsville, Alabama. May 7th, 2 shows at Zany's in Nashville.
Hope to see you in Nashville and Alabama.
June 2nd at the Good Nights Comedy Club in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, I think we will definitely see you on that date, right? Come
I
on.
think
Corona's
so.
going to be out of here by then. Let's all collectively
yeah.
put it out there.
June 3rd, the very next night at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hell yeah, Charlotte.
June 11th, we added this show for all you Chicago people that couldn't come to the second show.
Yeah, Chicagoans.
There's also going to be a show the next day, June 12th. That one is sold out. Both are at Talia Hall.
Can't wait to see you, Talia Hall.
Gonna be so lit. July 8th at the Comedy Works South in Greenwood Village, Colorado. I'm so excited. I fucking love Colorado. I can't wait to show Alaina Colorado.
I can't wait for Colorado.
And we can't wait to see you there.
Can't wait.
And then on July 11th, we're going to stay home and maybe take a drive down to the Wilbur and like put on a show or something.
Yeah, with the wonderful, amazing Emily Walsh.
The comic stylings of one Emily Walsh.
It's totally worth it. She's amazing and hilarious.
And we are so stoked about all of these shows. So,
and again, we'll let you know as soon as we know information. You will know.
Yes. And as soon as everything is updated, our link tree, which is in my bio, Alaina's bio, it's on the website, it's on our our Morbid Instagram. Anytime you click that, it should be updated as soon as the dates have been reset.
Yeah. And if you want it, you know, we're going to update as soon as we can on the podcast, but for like really quick updates, go to our Instagram page, our Facebook, the Twitter, all that, our website at morbidpodcast.com. We'll be updating that as we go. So just keep an eye out. We're going to see you all. Just might get a little jumbled. So that's all.
Well, without further ado, let's listen to the fucking... I've been quarantining mostly at Alaina's house because I love her. And... I've seen her put in so much work to unfolding this case. This is the final part, part 4. I'm so excited.
This case has been haunting my dreams.
Every time I think she's done, she's like, oh, wait, there's more.
Yeah, there's more. I just can't. Even this. So we're in part 4 of the West Memphis 3 case. This is the final part.
Oh my God, I thought you were about to say her and tell us that I was like, there's no part 5.
I mean, I'm going to be real with you.
You
definitely could take it to a part 5, but I'm going to spare you guys because I think we all need to move out of this frustrating headspace.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in a time of COVID-19, I think we need to get out of this frustrating.
We need some uplifting murders.
we can't be stuck in this kind of frustration.
No.
So part 4, it's going to be a long one. Thought it was going to be a short one. Definitely not. So last night I ended up watching West of Memphis, which is the Peter Jackson documentary about this.
Oh, I haven't seen that
highly
one.
recommend it. It's really good, in the vein of Paradise Lost, but is now, they looked at like forensics after the fact, and they delve very hard into one Terry Hobbs. And I think it's really interesting for you to watch, and I think everybody should watch it and then formulate your own opinion.
We're not going to tell you our opinion. It's going to be like
I think it's going to be pretty clear what my opinion is,
but we're not going to say it in so many words.
But yeah, because basically I'm good with being sued by Terry Hobbs. So I'm just going to give you the facts.
Do with them what you will.
Who knows? You know, just take it with a grain of salt and do what you will with it.
Okay, so let's get started.
So first, when we last left you guys in part 3, Damien Echols, Jason Baldwin, and Jessie Kelley were just sentenced to very long terms in prison.
And Damien
after ridiculous trials that were rife with inconsistencies, lies, circumstantial evidence, and just shenanigans, but all around. Jessie Kelley and Jason Baldwin were sentenced to life in prison, and Damien Echols was sentenced to die by lethal injection.
Oh God.
Now, I just want to go over quickly what happened to the 3 guys after they were put in prison, their experiences. I'm just going to do a brief overview. Then we're going to go into John Mark Byers, Terry Hobbs. We're going to talk about the people that came forward to help them, all that good stuff. So Jason Baldwin said basically when he heard the guilty verdict, he was in such shock that he said it wouldn't have mattered if I was sentenced to an hour in prison or my life in prison or sentenced to die.
Oh my God.
I was dead. Like, he was like this because he's like, it just ruined me. Because again, he went through this whole thing as believing God would not allow this to happen.
Right.
And
if
he was
you were
like,
innocent, why would you be put in jail? That's what he thought.
He was shocked. Even though he said he knew that, like, by the way the trial was going, that they were going to convict him no matter what. Oh my God, he was like, I still in the back of my mind was like, I'm innocent. They can't convict me. And he actually said, quote, the truth was not found out and proclaimed to everyone. And he said, that's why he said when the judge was like, is there any reason that this sentence should not be carried out? And he said, because I'm innocent. He said that's the only thing he could say, because he was like, the truth wasn't said. I had to just be like, I'm innocent. That's why you shouldn't put me in prison forever. Like, there's no other reason. I'm just innocent. I didn't do this.
Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
So in the winter after he entered prison, Jason received a letter from a counselor at the juvenile center where he and Michael Carson had spent time together. Michael Carson, remember, was the kid who went on the stand and said, hey, I talked to Jason in prison when we were spending like 4 minutes together, and he just spilled his guts to me and told me that, you know, he sucked the blood from one kid and he put the balls in his mouth, and he said this really like graphic, ridiculous statement and was like, yeah, Jason said that to me.
Meanwhile, look at Jason. You think he fucking said that?
Exactly. Like,
probably
come on.
not.
The mullet, come on.
Right.
So he was like, and it was later discovered that that was untrue.
Right.
Well, this is when it was discovered, because so Jason received a letter. It was from a counselor at the juvenile center. And this counselor in the letter said that everything Michael Carson said on that stand was from a conversation he had with him. He said he had discussed the case with Michael Carson, and he said, quote, we were discussing the case in the meeting, and I told him what people were saying about the victims and about what was allegedly done to the bodies. This young man went to the police and stated you had confessed those details to him while in detention together. So he told him that was wrong of me. That was so out of line. I never should have talked about that case with him.
Right.
I was beyond out of line. I should have been fired. Like, I'm horribly
but let
sorry.
me guess, nothing was done.
Well, he said, but I need you to know I was very nervous to come forward with this because obviously I shouldn't have been speaking to him about this.
Right.
And I didn't know what to do. And he said, but then I couldn't hold it in anymore because I was like,
guilty.
This is crazy that this kid is going to pretend that Jason told him this. Mm-hmm. So he said, this counselor said he went to Jason's lawyer and told Jason's lawyer, Paul Ford. He was like, this is what happened. Paul Ford was like, will you testify to that?
And he said no.
And he said yes.
Oh,
yes,
shit.
I will. So he said, I was totally willing to. And he said, all of a sudden they told me you're not allowed to testify. And he said he didn't know why he wasn't allowed to testify, but he said, I was willing the entire time.
Was it the judge that said
the judge said he couldn't? It's like,
so I can't tell the truth on the stand?
So Michael Carson, this 16-year-old who told this fantastical tale with zero witnesses and just told him, yep, this is what he said to me, was allowed to testify.
And now we can't rectify what the truth is?
But now a counselor who's saying, no, I told this kid that, and that's a false testimony, cannot be allowed to testify. Exactly. There's a lot of whys in this. So Paul Ford, once he found this out, that this letter came through, Paul Ford tried to get Jason a new trial. And he did this because at one point during the original trial, Judge Burnett had met with Fogelman and Davis privately. And so the judge met with Fogelman and Davis were the prosecutors.
Okay.
He met with them alone.
Like off the record.
Without the defense attorneys.
Okay.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
And especially in a trial like this one, whenever a meeting like that takes place, it has to include lawyers on both sides. And this didn't.
Right.
So this was a pretty serious issue. And Paul Ford was like, we can get a new trial based on that.
Right.
Like, that's that big.
How are they going to prove that they did that?
Well, because Judge Burnett admitted that he did
it. Are you
it.
kidding me?
He did not deny that he did that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, not at all. But Burnett was the judge that had to rule on that. So he had to rule on whether his own behavior was okay or not.
Why couldn't this have been brought to another judge? Like, why was that not allowed?
Because as long as Judge Burnett was the original trial judge, and as long as
even if he was a corrupt judge?
Yep. And actually he ran for some political position in Arkansas. Uh-huh. And they were saying that they were begging that he would get elected to this position so he would be taken off of the case. Because if he got elected to that position, he couldn't be trial judge for this case.
Wow.
And so they were saying, like, we were hoping we would have campaigned for him just to get him off of this goddamn case. So, of course, when looking at his own behavior and whether or not it was okay that he had this private meeting with Fogelman and Davis,
said it was fine.
He was like, of course that's fine. You're not getting a new trial based on that.
Oh, my God.
And they could do nothing about it.
This is like slamming your head against a brick wall over and over.
Oh, yeah. And this is the thing. Judge Burnett was the trial judge through all these appeals. So he just denied every single one of them.
Right.
He just denied all new trials, denied any new evidence. He denied everything. Right. As far as he was concerned, that was it. They're going to rot in jail. Damien's going to die and I'm going to move on. Like, that was it. And when they were eventually, because obviously they were freed eventually, which we'll get to. But when they were eventually let out, they interviewed Judge Burnett and he was like, I think it's ridiculous. And I did my job. I did great.
No,
and then he was
didn't.
like, this is some like Hollywood shit. basically that is
because
going on.
you made this a mockery.
And it's like, no, this isn't Hollywood shit. You just sucked at your job. That's all. Like, it's okay to admit that you
were
sucked
not
at your
just.
job. So Jason ended up, he went into prison having a really tough time because he was this tiny little 16-year-old.
Right.
Like, he was real tiny.
Right.
And he went in there. People think he's a baby killer, essentially.
Yeah.
And he decided that he had to just act tough to like scare people
Compensate.
into, and he said eventually, he was able to like work in certain positions in prison, and he was able to like find some sense of like not
purpose.
Normalcy, but like just survival, basically. Right. And actually, him and Jessie Kelly were incarcerated together a few times, like in
so
the same
interesting
place.
To me.
Like, there's a couple of pictures of them like in the same like prison together. It's very odd.
Yeah.
So Jessie had a really hard time.
We did.
He did. So he didn't have a hard time in the sense Damien had a hard time on like a whole nother galaxy level, but Jessie just had a hard time because he was not, at the same intellectual level that his age was. So he was still not understanding any of this.
Right.
He just wanted to go home to his dad.
Right.
He thought, again, this was a total slap in the face to him. He had no idea this was going to happen. And he got in trouble a lot.
Because even on the outside, he was like
he
a
was
super
a fighter.
tough kid to like prove himself.
Yeah, like he was always just fighting.
Because people probably picked on him and were fucking assholes.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
In fact, in one prison photo of him, they have like, they have like the name tag.
Yeah.
And his says Miss Kelley, but it says Miss MISS, and then there's like a little space, and it says Kelley. So it says like Miss Kelley.
Right.
And I don't know. I have no thing that says that was intentional. But when you look at it, to me, it looks like it says, because it was a capital K and a space in between.
Right.
And to me, that's someone being a dick.
Of course.
That just, I don't know. That just seems like something that would happen to him. But he said that he would do things just to get in trouble so that he would be put in solitary. Because he said he could finally calm his mind and ease his mind when he was like alone. And he said, because all three of them said jail, especially death row where Damien was.
I can't imagine.
They said it's just constant noise and just chaos. So your mind is just like crazy. And so, yeah, he would want to get some peace and quiet. And after a while, though, he was able to control some of this. And he got to work in like the prison kitchen. He worked on like an outside, like, some kind of thing outside. I don't know all the things in prison, but he was put to work, and I think it helped kind of keep his mind a little busier.
Yeah. And
they did again like find some kind of like way to just survive together,
like coping mechanism almost.
Yeah, exactly. So February 19th, 1996, Jessie's attorneys filed an appeal. And they filed this appeal for 7 Supreme Court justices to look at evidence about his confession. So they agreed that these 7 justices said yes. In his trial, in Jessie's trial originally, the only evidence against him was that confession.
Right.
That's it. There was nothing else. They also agreed that it had a, quote, confusing amalgam of time and events and contained, quote, numerous inconsistencies.
Yeah.
So they agreed to all that. But then they agreed that it was sufficient for the verdict to remain.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That makes sense.
And Chief Justice Bradley D. Jessen wrote, so he had to write his opinion. They all write their like various opinions why they think this. He wrote his opinion using Jessie's own statements, but he just kind of like rewrote them to make sense.
Right, of course.
Which it's like, but that's not how he said them. That's the whole point of this appeal, is that like, sure, if it was a coherent narrative to begin with, we wouldn't be appealing this. Like, the reason is it's not coherent. So he said, quote, later in the so he said, quote, later in the statement, he changed the original time to noon. In the later statement, the appellant said that Echols and Baldwin had come to the Robin Hood area between 5 and 6. Upon prompting by the officer, he changed that time to 7 or 8. He finally settled on saying that this group arrived at 6 p.m. while the victims arrived near dark. So all 7 justices said that that's weird and inconsistent, obviously. But then they said, quote, when inconsistencies appear in the evidence, we defer to the jury's determination of credibility. So why are we here?
Right, so then what's the purpose? The jury already said they were guilty, so why are you there?
Exactly, because it's like, wait a second, but we're saying that the inconsistencies are what makes this a weird verdict, and you're saying the inconsistencies are weird, totally.
But the jury said what they said.
But the jury said guilty, so we just defer back to them. Then what the fuck are you good for?
That seems like a circle of nonsense.
Like, what the hell? So awesome. So, like we said, Dan Stidham kept with the case up to the very end.
And this was Jesse's lawyer.
That was Jesse's lawyer.
Okay.
And he argued that he was coerced to confess, obviously.
Yup.
And the justices basically were like, yeah, it kind of looks like that could have happened, considering his age, intelligence, and education. But, like,
considering
I don't know
everything.
what to tell you. They even said that the requirement for a voluntary confession was that the state had to convince the court that the statements were voluntary, not the other way around. But they still said that this was voluntary.
Okay.
Even though they did not convince at all.
Right.
So when the fact that Gitchell and Ridge used... Remember when Gitchell and Ridge had used Aaron...
Vicky's son.
Yeah, Hutchinson's disembodied voice saying nobody who knows but me, or
which
whatever it was.
Absolutely fucking
to
terrifying.
Like freak Jessie out. They said, the justices said that tactic, quote, gave them pause and, quote, comes perilously close to psychological overbearing, but then said, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So it comes real close to being real fucked up, but
I just don't
it's
understand
fine.
how you put your fucking head on your pillow at night and go to sleep knowing that you did all of this.
Well, and even the fact that the detectives had failed to have Jesse's parents or guardians sign his waiver of rights didn't matter to the justices, and that's illegal.
Right.
The detectives literally didn't have a parent or guardian sign that waiver, and Jessie was underage at the time.
Okay.
That's not legal. That all should have been thrown out because of that one thing, and they were like, oh, I don't know.
It's too bad they couldn't have moved this trial somehow.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And Stidham said certain evidentiary items were completely irrelevant and prejudiced towards them. And the court ignored it and said they were fine. And these were things like the witchcraft book of Damien's.
Right.
He was like, what the fuck does that have to do with the case? Vicky's lying about the spot. A photo of Jason wearing a black Metallica shirt with a skull on it was evidence.
A band t-shirt.
And Dan Stidham was like, yeah, no, like, that's not okay. That's prejudiced and not relevant.
And it's based on the music he listened to.
They said that is relevant as fuck.
It's not.
That was the official statement from the justice.
Relevant
they were like,
as
that's
fuck.
relevant as fuck, guys.
You know what, though? I wouldn't even be shocked if that's what the official statement
And they
said.
were just like, boom. Because in the official justice opinions, they wrote that 8 is a witch's number. That was in the official thing.
But was it 9 or was it 8?
It was, who knows, really.
Right.
But apparently they said it was 8.
The expert didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know. Well, he just changed it as he saw fit. They're just like, well, maybe 10. And he's
maybe
like,
it
sure.
was like 25.
He's like, you know what? It said like a number. I don't know. So it had come out by that point that Dr. Peretti, the medical examiner, had actually changed the time of death of the boys from what he thought. Because, again, time of death for this case was really hard to determine.
Right.
He thought it was well after midnight now. So now he was saying, like, actually, so this vastly fucked with Jesse's supposed version of events. And the court said, that doesn't matter either.
Does, though. It does
It's just
matter.
like, okay. So Jessie, so that didn't happen. No new trial happened for him.
It's crazy that they were able to get out of jail. I'm so like, thank God
They were
there was
so
some...
close to not being able to. It's crazy. So then we come to Damien, who was on death row. Now, he was placed immediately in solitary.
Oh, God.
His antidepressants were stopped abruptly. So he went through abrupt withdrawals.
You can have like seizures.
Yeah,
from
you can
that.
die, basically. So he had filed complaints saying that he was brutally beaten, and repeatedly raped.
Oh, God.
By other inmates. He was beaten by guards. He said it was literal hell. He was in solitary for literally like a decade.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he wasn't outside of a tiny concrete cell for like 8 to 10 years.
Holy shit.
And Damien, and we'll explain at the end, I'm going to explain how this affected his health when he got out. So Damien and Jason's appeals went about as good as Jesse's. They said everything Judge Burnett did was totally fine. And even though the evidence was circumstantial completely, it was totally fine. And they didn't need to look at this again.
Yeah, of course. No problem.
They listed the fact that Damien was into witches and the occult, and he had a journal that had pentagrams in it. He said that one of the reasons was he wore long black coats even when it was warm, that 8 was a witch's number, and that it was near a pagan holiday. And that's it. He was like, so it must be satanic, and it was him.
Okay.
He did it. That's why.
Sure.
And he said one of the other things that they really harped on, because they really listened to that occult expert, quote unquote. That's what the justices were like, yeah. Like,
Meanwhile, he
this.
literally confused himself on the stand.
Yeah, he couldn't even, he had a mail-in degree. And
right. Oh, yeah, I forgot that part.
Yeah. And then they also said that they were very, they cited this as very serious too, that the left side is supposedly satanic.
Oh, right.
Because you know how people, like, before, people used to try to make people right-handed because they said the left hand was like the devil.
Yeah.
And right hand is supposed to be more like Christianity and like pureness and all that. Well, they said that some of the worst injuries were on the left side. So it must be satanic. But that if it was satanic, wouldn't the bad injuries be on the right side, which is the Christian side?
Right, you'd be
because they'd be going against that. You wouldn't be going against your own. So it's like, that doesn't even make sense, and no one's sitting there being like, wait a second.
And also we determined that was probably turtles.
Exactly.
So
the only evidence they said that was relevant for Jason's guilt was Michael Carson's testimony.
Oh.
They still hung on to that. And that was literally proven to be bullshit, but they didn't care. They agreed that the trials probably should have been severed, Damien and Jason's.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, we probably should have severed that, but like hindsight,
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. It was just kind of like, oh.
We didn't do it, so.
Sorry, kid, you got to stay in jail for the rest of your life.
Oh my God.
Too bad. And they also said bringing animals, they brought the fact that Damien had animal skulls in his room. He had metal music posters and witchcraft and occult books. And they said that was totally fine to bring into evidence and totally proved his guilt.
Yeah, totally.
So as you can see,
me and you are murderers then too.
Right? And it's, as you can see, at the highest level here, there was no help.
No.
It was just, there was no help all around. So Damien had an absolutely terrible, but he did turn to like Buddhism and because remember, Damien went into this and he was very interested in all religions,
right?
Not just Wicca,
right?
And he suddenly found himself with a lot of time, and so he was studying a ton of Buddhism. He started like meditating for like 5 to 8 hours a day.
He would have to.
And
how
like,
else would you survive?
Crazy being able to. He was like sitting and meditating for that long. So, while they're in prison, we all know that the Paradise Lost documentaries came out. The first one in 1996. Bruce Sinofsky and Joe Berlinger were the ones who made this. They had no idea that it was going to turn into what it was. They went into this thinking they're doing a film about 3 teenage murderers. And then it turned into like, whoa, wait a second. Not. This is not what it seems. They vowed to make those movies until they were free, and they did.
Yeah.
They came out with 3, so everybody definitely go watch it because they'll blow your fucking mind.
They're really good.
A lot of people have said that they went and watched it and were like, whoa.
And actually, some people have said it changed their minds.
It does. It really does. And then also, again, go watch West of Memphis too, because that's a really great one with Peter Jackson at the helm. So definitely go see that. During this whole time, the Paradise Lost documentary came out, and that's when the first one, and people were like, wait, like, no one had heard of the, people knew about the case, but now people
didn't know
like,
the real details.
Wait a second. And this is when westmemphis3.org was born. This is the thing that really kickstarted the Free the West Memphis 3 movement. Writer Burke Sauls, graphic artist Kathy Backen, and photographer Grove Pashley, which are just like 3 great names.
Awesome names.
Like,
you had to do something
awesome
great.
Names. Like Grove and Burke, I just feel like you need to have a band together or something.
Yeah, you do.
They were from Los Angeles. They saw Paradise Lost and just couldn't get over it.
Right.
Like, all 3 of them just couldn't stop talking about it and were like, I can't move on from this. And they also realized that they couldn't get a lot of information about the case, and they were all dying to know more. Kathy, in particular, was like, I need to know what's going on with this case. So she wrote to the lawyers and heard that nothing had happened for these defendants and that they were just rotting away in jail.
Right.
And that their appeals had been denied and all this. And she was like, that's unacceptable. She's like, I was horrified. I was like, something needs to be done here. So Burke actually said he felt like, he was like, I watched the movie and then when it was over, I felt like I missed the part of the movie where they showed me that they were guilty.
Because
like,
just
he was
didn't
like,
happen.
It ended and I was like, wait, you didn't show me their guilt. Like,
Right.
I don't understand. Did I miss a part of this movie or something? And so they were all like, we got to do something. So in October 1996, they went to Arkansas, the three of them. They were like, they went to the crime scene. They went to meet Damien and Jessie and Jason in prison. Because they were like, we wanted to get the whole picture. We wanted to be in the thick of it, see the area, talk to some people, like really get a feel for it. They talked to Dan Stidham, and they were absolutely convinced after this that they had been railroaded, just like the documentary showed. But they were like, the documentary showed us that, but we wanted to see it for ourselves to make sure we weren't being like shown a different side of this whole thing. And they felt like it was like everybody else feels. It was like Salem level hysteria.
It was like almost worse, I think.
It really was. And after speaking with people in the area, they were like, we just can't let them rot in jail. So this is when they figured that they had to put all of these updates and real evidence onto a website for people to dig into. Mike Huckabee was the governor at the time. And they were trying to get people to write to him to help move this along. Don't think that went real well.
Probably not.
Don't really know why. But they sold merch on the website. They were reaching out to celebrities, trying to get people and they were trying to get people to be like, here, look at what we have put out there.
Right.
And you make the decision. But if you feel like we feel, like, get on our side.
Yeah.
If you don't, see you later, goodbye, that's fine. But like, we know that this is the right thing. So their whole thing was they were trying to raise money to get them a new trial, get evidence, like get things tested. Kathy even like took forensic courses.
Wow.
A couple of them took like courses in school just to get a better understanding of the whole thing. Like they went hard. They put discussion forums on the website. They uploaded documents from the court cases. And then they would also do interviews with Damien and Jessie and Jason and like upload them on there so people could do like questions and answers while they were in prison.
That's crazy.
And that's when the Free the West Memphis 3 catchphrase was born. There was like t-shirts.
Yeah, I've seen the shirts.
They took and again they took the courses and they were instrumental in getting this happening.
Right.
And all three of the guys say like without them this wouldn't have been without them and like the Paradise Lost people and like, you know, Peter Jackson and all like the big names that stepped up to like really like Johnny Depp.
I was just gonna
say Eddie Vedder, Henry Rollins, Natalie Maines and the Dixie Chicks. They all stepped up and were like, fuck that, this is not justice.
Right.
So without them it definitely wouldn't have gone as far as it did. Now, while this is all going on, like we mentioned earlier, Vicky Hutchison, the waitress who said that she went to a spot with Damien and Jessie and then was like, whoops, just kidding. She said that after the boys were arrested and put in jail, she said that she constantly called detectives to say that Aaron was interviewed a lot during that whole investigation, her 8-year-old son Aaron.
Yeah.
Without her. Like they took him in by himself a lot and she wasn't okay with that. She was freaking out. She was like, I want to sue. And then she said that she thought she should get the reward money because she said her son's disembodied voice is really what put these three in jail.
But the reward money is fake. You didn't put the real people in jail.
Exactly.
Vicky.
And then she said that the spot was something she was so at first she was like, I was kind of lying about that because she said, I did go somewhere that day, but she didn't know who she went with or what she did because that afternoon of the spot, the supposed spot, her boyfriend had broken up with her, so she drank 1 bottle of wild turkey bought to herself. So she said she was essentially blackout. She went somewhere with someone and saw people dressed in black doing something.
Or maybe she passed out on her couch and had a weird fucking dream.
Yep. She said it looked like they were touching each other, so she wanted to go home. She doesn't know who brought her home. She doesn't know when or how.
Honey, you had a dream.
And then she said she woke up on her front lawn with a second empty bottle of wild turkey next to her. And soon after that, she admitted, I was just lying completely about that whole thing.
Yeah, you were.
And that's when she said
put 3 innocent people behind bars because you're a drunk fuck up.
Exactly. And that's when she said that police wanted her to pretend to go to the spot and that all she wanted to say now to Jessie and Damien and Jason was, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything for
Which
us,
is
Vicky.
like,
I don't want your apology.
That's the thing. It's like, Vicky,
You're
girlfriend,
sorry?
you are literally just being like, sorry.
This is like that. I feel like Nancy in the scene in The Craft where what's his face says sorry to sorry. She flips the fuck out, and then she kills him. So I don't want to kill anybody, but like, wow.
I feel that way.
That's what I would have said.
Like,
to her.
I want to like levitate off the floor.
I was
and
just
scream.
I was just gonna say I would levitate in front of Vicky and just scream at her.
Scream it.
And I'd be like, "How sorry are you now?"
Like, bish. So yeah. So that's Vicky. So again, we're having multiple things coming out that are saying
enraged
that
me.
key testimony in these trials was
a
bullshit.
lie.
And people, it is coming out and nothing is being done about it because Judge Burnett is like, and then the high court is like, and it's just like, everybody's just like, let's just wipe our hands of it. They're three poor kids we threw in jail. Who gives a shit? Like,
me.
Move on. And Damien says it in West of Memphis. There's really good interviews with him while he was still on death row. And he says, like, I want to be clear, this is happening every day. We are not a weird case. We're just getting more attention. Like, he's like, this is happening to so many people.
Wow, that's so scary.
And it's so true. So now we want to mention, so we mentioned a bunch, John Mark Byers.
Yes.
Who was Christopher Byers' stepdad. He is married to Melissa Byers. They were the ones that were very eccentric with the press. John Mark Byers, in the documentaries, if anyone has watched them, you will see him being very theatrical and over the top, which to a lot of people was a little eyebrow raising. A lot of people were like, that looks like you are putting on a show and not actually feeling real emotions, but you know. So John Mark Byers was people thought he was a suspect from the beginning. Now, he does have a very troubled past and present. well, right now, I don't know. I shouldn't say present, but recent past.
Okay.
He had a troubled life for sure. So the Arkansas Times found that Byers had been arrested in 1973 when he was only 16 years old, because his parents claimed that he was threatening them with a butcher knife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, by 1987, he had already been married and divorced. He had 2 children, and now he was remarried to another woman. Now, a former neighbor of his, who was never ID'd, said that she called the authorities about child abuse on him.
Oh, no.
Because he said, quote, he was whipping Christopher, who was 2 at the time, so badly I was afraid for his life.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and this is Christopher Byers, one of the
that's
victims.
So sad.
The woman said that she reported this happening tons of times, and she also reported it while they were investigating the murders, because she was like, just so you know, like, this is the kind of person he is, and was never asked to testify.
Wow, that's absolute bullshit.
Never asked to testify about it. So that same year, in 1987, he was also arrested and charged with terroristic threatening because he assaulted his ex-wife.
Oh.
How did he assault his ex-wife? Well, a neighbor called the police and said she was a little concerned because she heard a woman screaming and saw, quote, 2 small kids outside by themselves. The police show up to the Byers home. They found Byers and his ex-wife in the home. His ex-wife was laying on the floor, screaming, and Byers was holding an electric shock device.
Oh my
and
God.
Threatening her with it. Yeah.
And now, this isn't Melissa, right?
No, this is his ex-wife.
Okay.
Now, Byers was convicted of terroristic threatening for this particular incident, and he served 3 years probation.
Oh.
Now, as we will see, he's like conviction proof.
That Arkansas justice system, huh?
Yeah. So July 1992, he was arrested by sheriff's deputies in Memphis and charged with felony cocaine counts and carrying a weapon.
Oh.
In 92-93, he was also involved in a huge Rolex scam, like fraud scam, where he was selling like faulty Rolexes. He made a ton of money off of that, and he got caught for that. So Christopher's biological father was a guy named Ricky Murray. And he said that Mark Byers never officially adopted Christopher like he claimed.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, not that says anything, but like he's lying about that.
Right.
And then he said that Mark Byers said on the Maury Povich show after the murders, because they were all on those shows at the time, that he had picked Melissa Byers up from work the day of the murders, and that was his alibi.
Right.
He was like, I picked her up from work, and when I came back, we didn't know where he was.
Right.
He said that, so Christopher's dad said that when he talked to Byers at Christopher's funeral, again, he said that he was at court the day of the murders.
Oh.
So then he was like, wait a
weird
second.
that you have more stories than one.
So he also told WestMemphis3.org that he didn't think Damien, Jason, and Jessie committed the murders.
Christopher's
birth father was like, I don't think they did it.
Oh, God, that's awful.
Now, Melissa Byers, Christopher's mother, was also very troubled.
Oh.
She was like a lifelong heroin addict. She was addicted to a lot of different things. She was charged with putting a gun to a carpet installer's head after he said he wouldn't install carpet in their home until the floors were cleaned.
Oh.
So she put a gun to his head and told him to do it.
Seems rational.
That seems fine. After the trials were and after they were, convicted and put in jail, the Byers family moved to Cherokee Village, which was near the Missouri line, but still in Arkansas. In September 1994, they were both arrested because they stole $20,000 worth of antiques from a residence nearby.
Wow.
Yep. 2 weeks after this, Byers was arrested again and charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Why? He literally forced two teenagers to knife fight.
What?
He literally stood there and forced one teenager to fight another.
With knives?
With knives. And one of those teenagers got seriously injured.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a thing?
And there were several witnesses to this, and kids that were like, I was like, what the hell is going on? And he was like, don't go near them. Like, this little bitch needs to get his ass whooped.
And
it was a teenager. It was a teenager.
Ew.
Yeah. A few months later, he was charged with hitting a neighbor's 5-year-old so hard that he left bruises.
What is this man?
Now, he claims that this little kid was like doing something and he was over for some weird reason, and that he was like, oh, and I just like hit him on the butt with a fly swatter. Like really quick. And the neighbors are like, no, he had bruises. Like,
yeah, you don't
hit
get
him.
bruises from a fly
Either
swatter.
way, you hit my kid with anything, including just like a nasty look, and I am ending you so hard that your ancestors are going to know about it.
Like, what?
Like, you're going to sit here and say, well, I only hit him with a fly swatter?
I'd be like, you hit my kid.
Fuck you, motherfucker. That's not your kid. Like, you don't hit other people's kids.
You don't hit your own kids. But...
I'm telling you right now, I will end you. You touch my kids.
Seriously.
I will end you. So that's crazy. And by 1994, the two of them, Melissa and Mark, had 12 misdemeanors. Neighbors had restraining orders against them, and the delinquency of a minor charge was on Mark, and the burglary charges for the antiques were on both of them.
It's also like, hey guys, you were involved in like a high-profile murder. You're not really gonna fly under the radar for the rest of your lives.
And also,
like, it's awful that their son was murdered. I'm not making fun of that in any way, but it's like, that happened
in the public eye
right now. Like, you didn't ask for it, but maybe don't do all this shit
because
when you're
because it's like people are going to know
paying
about
attention
it.
to you.
Exactly. And it's not like the Byerses were like small shrinking violets. Like, they were loud and boisterous and very, very, which they had every right to be during the trial, to be as loud and angry and like, aggressive as they wanted to be. But it's like, when you do that, know that people are going to remember you from that trial. So you can't just go stealing $20,000 worth of antiques.
And making people knife fight
hitting
each
other
other.
people's kids, or making two teenagers knife fight. What the fuck? Expecting everybody just to be like, okay, well,
how does your brain
fine.
work that way? I avoid people at all costs.
And this is sad, and this is still an unknown. This is a mystery.
Oh shit.
So March 29th, 1996. This is only a few years after the murders.
Yeah, like 3 years.
Melissa Byers was found naked and unconscious in their home at 5:20 p.m.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
She was immediately pronounced dead at the hospital.
Oh my, I never knew that.
Yep. It was a mystery because no trauma was present, and they literally couldn't figure out what killed her.
Wow.
Now, the state police were called in this time, and they began investigating this, and they said they were investigating it as a possible homicide.
Yeah.
So they did find injection marks on top of both of her feet, inside her right wrist, and in her upper right thoracic area.
Did she OD?
They said that, so a witness said that Melissa was taking Dilaudids and Xanax.
Uh-huh.
And they also said the Byerses were fighting a lot recently, and that Mark had been cheating on her and had a girlfriend named Mandy.
Oh, yikes.
Now, in fact, when the police came and searched the home, Mark was standing outside with his girlfriend Mandy.
Oh.
Yeah. He also stated that he was worried he was going to be accused of smothering her.
Oh.
Yep.
Why, though?
The medical examiner could not determine the manner or cause of death and said that there were plenty of drugs in Melissa's body, but not enough to cause death or an overdose.
Okay.
So they said she did not die of an overdose.
So, and is it hard to tell if somebody was smothered?
It's pretty hard to tell if they're smothered.
Yeah.
Smothering is a hard one to do because it's not the same as strangling. You're not going to have the marks.
Right.
To me,
just to come up with that out of thin air.
the fact that he offered that information is like, whoa, dude. Like, that wasn't even on anyone's mind.
So what was it actually ruled as?
Well, they also, so it's still ruled as, like, they don't know what it is. They found a ton of scars. This is sad. They found a ton of healed scars on her wrists.
Oh.
So she was obviously having a lot of...
That made me really sad.
Yeah.
Obviously, she lost her son.
And they also found no alcohol and no opiates in her system, but they did find Dilaudid and marijuana. But again, they said nothing that would have killed her.
Right.
And they said those injection marks could have been from the hospital while they were trying to revive her.
Oh.
At least some of them were.
Okay.
But again, no outside trauma. She was found naked.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And I think what he said was that they laid down to take a nap and he just woke up and she was like that.
Yeah, I doubt that.
But so that's weird.
Okay.
That's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1997, a year later, he ended up getting a ton of hot check charges. So that's when you don't have enough money in your bank, but you're writing a check against it. But,
right.
Because of his indigent status, he never got charged or punished, really, because they could just say, that is a reason. So then in April 1999, so at this point, April 99 comes. He's had all these charges and all these things happening, and he's getting away with it.
Right.
In April 1999, he accidentally dialed the wrong number while making a drug deal.
Oh, shit.
That wrong number was an Arkansas state trooper.
Shut the fuck up. You can't make this shit up.
You can't.
He accidentally called a state trooper and made a drug deal.
And the state trooper was literally like writing someone a ticket on the side of the road. It was like,
hello?
And he was just like, and so he was like, yeah, come here, I got the stuff and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay,
Be
what's
right
the
there.
address? I forgot. I didn't write it down. And he just gives his address. And then he's like, okay.
I just put my hand over my mouth.
You can't get better than that.
Wow.
He was arrested.
Duh.
He finally got an 8-year sentence that was basically for all the other shit too.
Because they're like, can you just calm down?
He only served 15 months.
Why?
Because life, What the fuck? Because, Jason and Jessie are like railroaded and spend their whole 18 years in prison for something
this guy's out there causing
do.
a ruckus.
And he gets 15 months. So
ruckus or two.
Melissa's parents claimed Byers, so they were like not contacted at all during the investigation.
Okay.
And they always thought it was weird. They didn't really know a lot about it. They didn't follow the trial with everything. They were like, we didn't want to know. It was just too hard.
Yeah, of course.
They claimed that Mark Byers beat Melissa more than once, and she would have black eyes. She would constantly, he was a violent man.
That is so sad. Like, that is a sad life.
It is. It's awful. This, looking into this, between Terry Hobbs and Mark Byers, those poor
kids.
Little boys.
Right.
Because the shit they had to deal with from these stepfathers is beyond.
That makes me so, I can't even.
It's awful. And so Melissa's father said that it was weird that Byers claimed that he came back from somewhere the day of the murders and found that Chris was not home.
Right.
Like, that was his original claim. Because he said, actually, Melissa had asked her father that day to stay with Chris after school because she said, can you stay with him when he gets off the bus until Mark gets home?
Uh-huh.
And so he was like, okay, cool. So he said, when I got there, Byers was already home.
Oh.
And he said, so Byers told him, oh no, I'll get Chris from school. Like, don't worry about it. So he was like, cool, okay. So he went home and he goes, I regret that every day.
Oh, that made my
that
stomach
to
just
happen.
drop.
They also said that Melissa and Mark's marriage was in big trouble. He was
sounds
cheating.
like it.
And she wanted to divorce him, and he had told her he would not divorce another woman. Which isn't that real scary? That's ominous.
That's really
especially with the
ominous.
way she died. And again, I'm not accusing anyone. He was never found guilty of anything. Her death is still a mystery.
Series of
But
events.
again, take these facts that I'm giving you and just come to your own conclusion. So that's weird that he was not going to divorce another woman. She was going to stay with her parents the Friday she died. And when they called that day, Mark told her that she wasn't feeling good and was resting. And then he called later that evening and just said, Melissa's dead. That's all he said.
Oh my God. He told her parents she was dead by just saying that?
Yep. They said that's how he put it.
Oh my God. That just made me want to barf.
In 1997, a forensic analyst was brought in to re-examine the case of the three boys. And he said, in regards to Chris Byers specifically, there was a record that said that Mark Byers reported that he had given Chris, quote, a whipping with a belt before he went missing.
Oh.
And he found, so this expert found 3 sets of injuries on the buttocks of Chris Byers.
Right.
He said 2 were not consistent with a belt whipping. And he said the 3rd set were lacerations that could have been from a belt. But he said, quote, and this is really like, this is jarring. He said, quote, because remember, so he's saying, I gave Chris a light whipping with a belt.
Yeah, that's
which
not a thing.
I'm sure, I mean, in different parts of the country, that's just happens. And different strokes for different folks. I was never beaten with a belt. But, like, especially in the South at this time, that was a very normal thing.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm not judging. So everybody calm down.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm sure people got whippings and they're fine now. You can all calm down. But, this was just something. He said he gave him a whipping with a belt before he got on his bike and went to play with these kids. So this expert said, quote, it is further the opinion of this examiner that after having received this set of injuries, which tore open the skin and would have resulted in some severe bleeding, the victim would have been unable to walk or ride a bike without incredible pain and discomfort.
Oh, wow.
So you're telling me that he received this, quote, light whipping, which tore open his skin.
And caused severe bleeding.
Then he just bopped outside and got on a bike and rode off with his friends.
Right.
Nope. I don't think so. That doesn't sound right. So that has given people some pause.
Uh-huh.
And another interesting thing is that they had they went and they go really into this in West of Memphis, the documentary, and Mara Leverett, who wrote Devil's Knot, really went into this. If you go to her website, I'll put it in the show notes. She has like a very detailed thing about this. They originally, so they said that they thought a lot of the markings and a lot of the ripping things were from turtles and other things in that water, animals. But they said there was one thing, especially on Stevie Branch's, I believe his left eyebrow and his forehead, that looked like a human bite mark.
Oh.
And when you look at it, it definitely looks like a human bite mark. And it was just like never really touched upon. And so they brought it up later and were like, what is this? Because forensic odontology is a really good, it's almost like fingerprints.
Right.
Everybody's teeth
You
are
think
very
about
distinct.
Ted Bundy.
Exactly. That a lot of that was like breaking that case.
Right.
So they brought that up and it was starting to become out there that they were like, we need to start taking casts of teeth. They took casts of Jason Baldwin, Jessie Kelly, and Damien Echols' teeth. None of their teeth fit.
Oh.
So then they started being like, we should take casts of other people's teeth, like fucking Mark Byers and Terry Hobbs over here. Well, guess what? Terry Hobbs and John Mark Byers in the mid-90s had all their fucking teeth removed.
You're shitting me.
Not shitting you at all. And they both had full sets of dentures put in. And later...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Moving forward to Terry Hobbs, because we're going to that next anyway. Later, Pam Hobbs, Terry Hobbs' ex-wife, and the mother of Stevie Branch, who later came out and said she believes Terry Hobbs did it.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. She found a lockbox in their house that had a like pack of cigarettes in it, a marble, and a set of partial dentures belonging to Terry Hobbs. And she said, why would they be in a lockbox unless he didn't want anyone to be able to compare those fucking dentures? Because they were partial dentures from when that shit was happening. He had those partial dentures when the murders occurred.
Right.
Then he got the rest of his teeth removed and just got a full set of dentures.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's weird. And Mara Leverett actually details that they had these partial dentures matched up to that bite mark. And again, I'm going to put the page to it in our show notes. So look for it. It's a good fit. I'm just saying. Oh. And also biting, like in the Ted Bundy case, biting tells a lot of the pathology of the person doing this crime.
Right.
Because biting is not something that a lot of people do. It's not something that biting is rage. Biting is control, and biting is like consuming the person that you want. Like, this is something like animalistic. And that's why, like, Bundy, it fits him. Like, this like animal that like can't control himself. And the way these boys died, and if, you know, we'll get into the Terry Hobbs things, the way that some people think that they died, it makes sense. And the fact that it was Stevie Branch who got bitten on the face, and that's his stepfather, seems a little fishy, I'm just saying. So now we're going to move on to Terry Hobbs.
Okay.
This is a long one.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed with sadness. It's because this isn't just something that happened to 3 boys. This is, like Damien said, this is something that still happens today.
Exactly.
To kids.
And we still don't have justice for these 3 little boys.
I like want to cry.
It's so sad.
Kid things really fuck with
me. And regardless of what happened here, these 3 little boys died in a horrific, nightmarish way.
And whoever it is walking around.
Yeah. So November 6, 1994, Pamela Hobbs said that earlier in the day, Terry Hobbs had beaten her with his fists. She called one of her relatives on the phone.
I hate that this is these people's lives.
It is. Isn't that so sad?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like
the day your son was murdered, you were beaten. The day that Chris Byers was murdered, he was also previously beaten.
Like, it's just so much violence. Right. That's the thing. It's like violence was just so prevalent.
And we're not accustomed to that. Like, that's not how you or I mean, I wasn't raised violently. I was raised in a very off way, but it wasn't
violent
in that manner.
No. And it's like, I was certainly not. And I mean, that's just how my family did things. Everybody's family does some, you know,
right. And I'm not saying
spankings and whatever. Like, that's people have their own opinions about it, and that's fine. We just didn't grow up with
and
those.
If that's not what you're used to, and then you're hearing something to this level, it's jarring. Really jarring.
Yeah, it is. It just is. And it's like, I'm not telling anybody how to parent or anything like that.
Of course not.
This is just how I see things, that I don't personally, my personal opinion, and it's just my opinion.
No, because we have the same opinion.
I will not teach my children that violence is wrong by committing violence against them.
Right.
I don't think that is a very good way to do it, but you know, some people it is.
Right.
To each their own.
Exactly.
But you know what? It's never okay to beat your spouse. So
no, that's never
never okay.
And it's sad that was their lives.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think it's right to beat your child either. I'm just gonna say it, but it's definitely. I mean, you can't beat your spouse either. So November 6, 1994, Pamela Hobbs was beaten by Terry Hobbs. She called one of her relatives and told them. She said she believed her jaw was broken. That's how hard he hit her. Police said that they did see, when they showed up to this scene, Pamela Hobbs had bruises on her face and in the back of her head.
Oh my God.
Injuries.
I wonder if she was like concussed.
Right. So the relatives that she called contacted other relatives and were like, okay, let's go to fucking Memphis and let's confront Terry Hobbs.
Yeah.
Which, like, good for them. They confronted Terry Hobbs, and Hobbs said, nope, I'm not going to talk about this, like, fuck you guys, and then went out to his truck and got a .357 Magnum pistol, put it in his back pocket. At that point, Pam's brother, Jackie Hicks, came out of the house, and he was like, no, fucker, you're not leaving. Like, you beat my sister.
And this was before they knew that the boys had been murdered?
This was a year after.
Okay.
So, it's 1994. So, yeah,
Sorry.
This is a year after.
Okay.
So a fight started between her brother and Terry Hobbs. Her brother got Terry Hobbs on the ground, and this is when Terry brought out the gun and shot her brother in the abdomen. Yeah.
Oh.
Hobbs then reportedly pointed the gun at all of the other people there and were threatening them, like, I'm going to kill all of you too.
Which I would believe.
Sounds totally normal. When the police came, he was arrested, charged with assault on his wife, and aggravated assault on Hicks, the brother.
Right.
So there's that whole thing that shows you what kind of person he is. And then watch West of Memphis when you see, because I'm going to mention to you later soon that he ended up having to do a deposition. Where because Natalie Maines from the Dixie Chicks, he sued her over defamation and he lost. And when you sue someone like that, you get to open up your whole history, which was a bad idea for Terry Hobbs because he had to sit there and answer to all of this.
Right.
They ask him about this specific incident and they say, you know, you hit Pam Hobbs. You hit your wife that day in the face. You punched her in the face. He, no joke, go watch the documentary. I swear I'm going to like post the clip of it because it is bone chilling. They say that to him and he goes, oh
my God.
He literally laughs in this little snarky, like, you just want to fucking punch him in the face. He's a demon. And they go, is that funny, Mr. Hobbs? And he goes, well, you know, like you talk about it that much, it just becomes whatever. But it is an involuntary
Never funny to hit your wife.
Giggle that he does when they say, did you hit your wife? He goes, eh. And it's this like nasty little giggle and you're just like, what the fuck? Like it is evil as shit.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
So that's crazy. So then also DNA was eventually found in the shoelaces used to tie up the boys. They were able to finally use the DNA.
Right.
This DNA was hair and it was like tied up in the shoelaces. This DNA, this hair, was a match to Terry Hobbs.
Interesting.
What it wasn't a match to was Damien Echols, Jason Baldwin, and Jessie Kelley.
Right.
None of their DNA was at that scene. But Terry Hobbs's was.
Probably because they weren't there.
Well, and this also matched this. So this particular hair, you can see like the DNA, like the typing and everything. It is a match. It's also, I have to be like right about it. It's a match to 1.5% of the population as well.
Okay.
But it's also a match to Terry Hobbs.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
It's
they
just
use
interesting.
circumstantial evidence to convict 3 boys, so why don't we use fucking circumstantial evidence again?
So I'm just saying that's just how it is. There was another hair found on the scene that matched to a good friend of Terry Hobbs.
Oh, what a fucking coincidence.
David Jacoby.
Weird.
Terry Hobbs had hung out with David Jacoby the evening of the murders.
Oh, also coincidental.
Now, David Jacoby actually contradicted Terry's alibi that he had spent a ton of time with him at his home that night.
Yeah.
Like, David Jacoby came out and, like, messed with this alibi a lot. And they were like, who the fuck is lying here? Basically, he couldn't be consistent with where Terry was between 5 and 9 p.m.
It's a big frame
which
of
is
time.
the time frame that they went missing and were murdered.
Uh-huh.
So here's a couple of the versions. So Terry said that the night of that they went missing, he searched the neighborhood with his 4-year-old daughter Amanda for a bit, and he saw Dana Moore. He said he followed her to her home and met up with John Mark Byers in front of his home before 6 p.m. He then said this is when they figured out the 3 boys were together. Now, this doesn't make sense, though, because Byers' missing person report that he filed was at 8:30 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Also, Byers filed an affidavit saying he didn't see Terry Hobbs during this time period. Okay. So he said, I sat there and I talked to John Mark Byers before 6 p.m. And Mark Byers signed an affidavit saying, no, I did not see him. So then he also said that he was in the Robin Hood woods between 6 and 6:30 with David Jacoby. Mm-hmm. So that, again, that just contradicted his other statement. Uh-huh. In one interview, he described 20 to 40 people out searching. And they said there was like 4-wheelers, motorcycles, bicycles. It was like tons of people searching. In another interview, he says probably 100 were looking before dark.
Oh, okay.
The 3 victims were last seen at 6, and they weren't reported missing until 8:30 by John Mark Byers. There was not an immediate search at 6:30.
Right.
So that's
just a lie.
That's just a flat out lie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then David Jacoby said in an affidavit that he was not in the woods with Terry Hobbs at this time, and he was searching with Hobbs by like driving around briefly. He was like, I did not go in the woods with him.
Right.
So that's a lie.
Right.
He then said that he searched a ton. He was like, I searched so much. And he had many stories about these searches. In one, he said he walked on a path that led to the creek where they were found in the water, but he didn't go there. And then he also says that he never went within 100 feet of where the bodies were found.
So which one is it?
So it's like you literally are just contradicting everything. Now, and again, this is all just
what he said.
Like in the original trial, you know, we can't take all of this as evidence. It's
right.
just, but we're just presenting it like they presented the evidence. I mean, I was going to say, Terry Hobbs, you know, like we said, he beat his wives, he beat his children, he assaulted neighbors. There were accusations of child sexual abuse as well.
That's awful.
West of Memphis has an interview with Amanda, the daughter. That poor girl. I didn't look up like an update on her in like 2020.
Yeah.
But she went through some shit.
Yeah. That's
and
really
you
sad.
can tell that she was really fucked up from having him as a father. It's really upsetting. And lots of family members came out saying that she had told them things and that, you know, Stevie had told them things, and it's just like really upsetting.
It was obviously a house of horrors.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go like into detail about that because this is already a depressing case. Yeah, and it has a lot of child stuff in it, but like if you want to find it out, you can watch West of Memphis. Or read Devil's Knot, or, you know, go to any of these. There was a witness, a neighbor, who said that she saw Terry Hobbs with the 3 boys the evening of the murders. And she said, and she's interviewed in Paradise Lost and West of Memphis, she said no one came to ask her.
Right.
She was like, when the police came, they didn't ask any of the neighbors anything.
Which is ridiculous.
Which is crazy. And she was like,
that's the first thing you would do.
I saw them with Terry. And she was like, and I didn't think anything of it because that's one of their stepfathers.
Yeah, exactly.
And she goes, but when it all came out later, I was like, whoa, he's saying that he didn't see them that day? But I saw them with them. Like, he was like, I know I saw them. I spoke to them with him.
Right.
So that's really fucked up because he's lying left and right about where he was.
Right.
So there was also a pocket knife that belonged to Stevie that he was obsessed with.
Stevie was obsessed with
obsessed with this pocket knife. It might have been like a scout pocket knife or something like that. It was just a special pocket knife.
Yeah.
It wasn't found on him when he was dead or with his stuff, and they assumed that maybe it was just gone, lost, like since it was in the water.
Right.
It was later found in Terry Hobbs' possession.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. And that's just weird. And then in West of Memphis, they found 3 guys who said that Terry's nephew, I think his name, Michael Hobbs, told them that Terry killed 3 boys and that it was a, quote, Hobbs family secret that he did this. Yep. Now, Michael Hobbs, his nephew, even went under oath and said that this was a family secret. In 2013... separate affidavits were signed by Billy Wayne Stewart and Benny Guy, and these affidavits are whoa. Now, trigger warning, this is graphic and upsetting. They said that May 5th, 1993, according to both these guys, they said Terry Hobbs, David Jacoby, and 2 teenagers, L.G. Hollingsworth and Buddy Lucas, showed up to his house looking to buy some drugs. That's what these guys said. The transaction's happening, and while it was, he says under oath that he saw Hobbs and Jacoby kissing in a truck. And then he said that it was like a thing, that Hobbs was bisexual, but he didn't want people to know that. It was just like this weird thing. Not the bisexual thing is weird. I'm saying like that it was like this like thing that like people knew but didn't know. And like, he kind of was weird about it.
Right.
What happened after Stewart sold the pot on May 5th, they said that getting back in the pickup, Hobbs, Jacoby, and the 2 teenagers drove around. They were just smoking pot. They're drinking whiskey. And then they drove into a dirt road by the Blue Beacon Wood, which is where the Robin Hood Hills is. According to these guys, they said that Terry Hobbs asked the 2 teenagers to get out and, quote, wrestle. So while this was happening, he and Jacoby were watching. He said that something sexual happened between multiple of them. And this is when Chris Byers, Michael Moore, and Stevie Branch appeared on their bikes and saw it. Stewart says that Lucas told him that Terry Hobbs screamed, quote, "Get them little fuckers." Jacoby grabbed one of the kids, started beating him. Hobbs ordered the two teenagers to pull down his pants. It was obviously Chris Byers. And according to Stewart's affidavit, quote, Mr. Hobbs walked over to the boy that Mr. Jacoby had been beating and repeatedly bit the boy's penis and scrotum.
Oh my God.
Then, quote, cut the boy's genitals. And then he said that the other boys had to be killed because they saw it.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, it's really messed up. So apparently one of the guys who signed this affidavit said they tried to call the West Memphis police investigator, Bill Sanders. And he said he wanted to tell him the story, but he never even returned his phone call.
Keep calling.
I know. Now, that was, what's his name? Let's see. That was Billy Wayne Stewart's affidavit. The other guy was Benny Guy. And he told a similar story. He said that while Buddy was staying at his home in 1994... he confessed his involvement in the killings. Buddy was one of the guys that was there, apparently.
One of the teenagers.
Yeah. Guy said in the affidavit that Hollingsworth, one of the teenagers, also confessed in participating in these murders. And he said that Hollingsworth actually added a little more details to the whole thing. He said that Terry Hobbs got really pissed because after they had grabbed the boys... that one of the boys started kicking him to try to get away.
Duh.
Hobbs hit the boy in the head and shouted, quote, "I'm going to teach your fucking ass."
Oh, no.
And he said that, the same kind of thing happened. There was a beating. There was some awful things happening. He also said the thing about pulling the pants down. These are two separate affidavits. This is the same thing. And he said, so Guy stated that he sent a letter to prosecutor Scott Ellington in February 2012, putting these two confessions in there, and Ellington never responded to them.
Why?
So this was all just ignored.
That makes
So what kills
sense.
me is it's like, okay, so we can say the same exact thing that we said about the trial with Damien, Jason, and Jessie, that this could all be bullshit. This could all be people just talking shit. People lie on affidavits. They do it. They did it in the trial.
Yep.
But why did we take those first ones into account
but
and
not
convict
any other
three
ones?
boys and put one of them to death and two of them into life in prison? But now that it's about Terry Hobbs, we're just not even going to look at it.
Right. Meanwhile, there's way more evidence.
And on top of all that, we have tons of background here. We have witnesses saying that they can contradict what he was saying.
His hair is at the scene of the crime.
You can't contradict anything that the three boys, that Damien, Jason, and Jessie were saying, because there was nothing to contradict.
Right.
Because there was no fucking evidence.
Right.
We have fucking hair that takes them out of the scene. It conclusively says that the three of them were not the source of that hair.
No.
So it's like, wait, so why can we listen to it? It matches Terry Hobbs. It matches 1.5% of the population too, but it matches Terry Hobbs and David Jacoby.
And his friend.
That's a little
you know
weird.
what, maybe, and if those affidavits are true, his friend wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he was at his house that day, so maybe some hair got on him, and that's how it got there.
Exactly. So Pamela Hobbs and her family think he is the murderer. Her whole family
He's
thinks
just
it.
walking around what the fuck?
And they said they started believing this very shortly after the crimes.
Okay.
Pamela Hobbs was like, I started coming to this conclusion pretty early on.
That's really and were they still married?
They divorced pretty quick, but yeah, they were still married at the time. Terry Hobbs was arrested for drug possession in 2003. He was reported twice for abusing his daughter Amanda. And Pamela Hobbs took out a restraining order against him in 2005.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, they are divorced, and they actually removed Terry Hobbs's name from Stevie's tombstone.
Oh, wow. I'm glad.
Which,
that makes me happy.
Yeah. Because there was, we're going to get into this in a second, there was many reports of how awful he was to Stevie.
Oh, no.
And Pamela said that she used to, Stevie would have trouble falling asleep, and she would lay with him in bed.
Yeah.
Until he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Because you do that as a mother.
Uh-huh.
And Terry would get pissed because she was like taking
jealous?
care of Stevie too much and not paying attention to him. Like
you're a grown-ass
he had a
man.
ton of jealousy about Stevie because Pam says that Terry told her, "You're spending too much time being a mother and not enough time being a wife."
Wow. I don't even have anything to say about that.
Yep. So because of the DNA evidence, all the statements about Terry Hobbs, like all this shit coming to light, Damien's legal team filed a legal motion for a new trial because they were like, here's new evidence that takes us out of the scene and puts a different suspect in it. So maybe you should listen. So his defense team, they had experts. They announced all the findings. There was a press conference November 1st, 2007, and no new trial was granted,
which is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
And you can see them presenting this case to the Supreme Court in the West of Memphis documentary. It's infuriating. So I think everybody should go watch it. But after this, Natalie Maines, like I said, from the Dixie Chicks, came out publicly and said Terry Hobbs did this. Like, she was like, it's pretty fucking clear. He decided to sue her because he said it for defamation and slander. Like I said, that was a really bad idea because the shit that came out in the sworn depositions that he had to go through was so damning for his character. The what?
Are you gonna tell us?
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to say it quiet. I was like, are you gonna tell us?
She's so she's like wrapped in a blanket and she's just she's like, are you gonna tell us? I was like, what?
I need to know.
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
So a few of the main things. So Judy Sadler, who is Stevie's aunt, said Stevie told her that Terry locked him in a closet and beat him.
Oh my God.
She said that he forced Stevie and his sister Amanda to watch porn.
Ew.
Masturbated in front of them a lot.
What
and
the fuck?
Threatened to kill members of the family if Stevie told anybody. Now, Sheila Hicks, who is Stevie's other aunt, said that Terry Hobbs whipped Stevie, leaving welts. She said that he would force him to play dead cockroach, which meant lying on his back with his arms and leg raised. And when his limbs would get tired and he would try to lower them, Terry would, quote, whoop him.
What the fuck?
She also said that Stevie talked about how Terry and Pam got in a ton of fights, and Stevie saw Terry strangling Pam.
Oh my God. These poor kids.
Yeah. And this aunt also said that she witnessed sexual abuse of Amanda. So Marie Hicks, who is Stevie's grandmother, she's interviewed in the West of Memphis too. A lot of these people are. She said that Terry Hobbs was physically and sexually abusive. He used drugs. He was an alcoholic. Said that when Amanda was young, that she confided in her that he was sexually abusing her. Amanda Hobbs gave a horrific account of sexual abuse and said she had like repressed a ton of it and didn't even know what was real and what wasn't because she was so traumatized.
Of course. That poor girl.
Yeah, it really is sad. At one point in the documentary, she looks just like her mom too. She looks like Pam a lot. Thank goodness. And she says that she said like she feels really like hung out on a limb. And the interviewer's like, what do you mean? And she was like, I feel like crazy. Like mom went when Stevie died.
Oh,
she was like,
God.
I feel like I'm going crazy. And it's just really sad. You can
course
tell she's just
your
like
whole life is just a fucking ball of trauma.
She's just destroyed. Sharon Nelson, who was Hobbs's girlfriend, said that Hobbs said that he had found the bodies before the police, but left them there.
Yeah, okay.
He says he denies this, but she's like, no, he told me like he found them and then left them there and let them be discovered. David Jacoby was the one who gave all the contradicting statements saying like, no, I was not in the woods. He said he only searched with him for a bit before it got dark. And he also said that when Terry came to his house, he saw the 3 boys in the street behind him. Even though Terry said that he had never seen the victims that evening and said that he went on like long trips in the woods with Jacoby.
Right.
And Jacoby's like, no,
we didn't.
So there's that. Then Mildred French. This is another one
That's
you gotta watch.
Ass name.
Well, and you gotta watch him in the deposition when he goes to this, because he is such an asshole about this. So Mildred French was an elderly neighbor of his.
Oh no.
During the 80s. She said that she heard a woman screaming and then she heard a baby crying.
Oh no.
So she went over there, and she's such a badass.
I was
she
gonna
went
say,
over
what a
there,
bad bitch.
and she was like, what the fuck is going on? And he was like, you stay out of my business, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, she was like, I'm gonna make it my business, and I'm gonna call the police the next time I hear you hurting them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not dealing with this. So then she said she was in the shower one day, and he attacked her in her shower and sexually assaulted her.
Oh my God.
Yes. And she said he also killed her cat. Charges were filed for this assault. And he never really denies this attack, but he like won't talk about it. He's like, it's the past.
Yeah, it is your haunting past, buddy.
He said he didn't kill the cat, but he won't. And when you see him in the video of the deposition, and they were like, oh, we want to, they say, like, the investigator says, here's the testimony of Mildred French, and they give it to him.
Yeah.
And they're like, you read it over and then we'll talk about it. He literally flips the page open and then slams it shut and just pushes it away. And they go,
because he knows what fucking happened.
Well, and they go, are you reading it? And he goes, no, I'm not reading that. And she was like, so do you remember Mildred French? And he was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe. And they were like, a neighbor of yours that,
and
he goes,
her?
Oh yeah, some old lady, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
And you're like, you
douche canoe.
asshole. And they interview her in that documentary, and she's like, fuck that. Like, she's a badass.
Fuck him, dude.
So on December 1st, 2009, the case against Natalie Maines, when he decided to sue her, was dismissed. She won.
Hell yeah.
The judge ruled that Hobbs should pay her $17,590.27 for her legal expenses.
Does that ever happen?
Terry Hobbs said, quote, I don't give a damn what the judge says. I'm not paying the Dixie Chicks a thing. There was also the biting evidence that I mentioned earlier, and that he had his teeth pulled in the mid-90s.
Yeah, so coincidental, Terry.
Yeah. Well, now, so all of the parents believed that the three boys that were in jail did it. Mm-hmm. Damien, Jason, and Jessie. Now, Pam Hobbs came out and said she does not believe they did it.
Right.
She believes Terry did it.
Right.
Or at least had the capacity to do it, but she doesn't believe they did it.
Right.
But John Mark Byers was an avid against them that they did it. They did it. They did it. He suddenly turned around and said he thinks Terry Hobbs did it. And that the three in jail did not do it. He actually wrote Damien a letter apologizing to him.
Wow.
Damien actually said he forgave him and was like, you lost your child. I can't, like, you did what you thought you was right at the time. And he was like, I'm not going to hold on to that shit.
Because he's a Buddhist.
He is. He's such a Buddhist. So
I don't have that kind of fucking forgiveness.
There's a clip of Terry Hobbs going into, like, one of the hearings, like, for probably his deposition or something. And John Mark Byers is in front of an entire bunch of reporters and goes, there's the baby killer now.
Oh, shit.
And, like, and Terry Hobbs turns around and gives him a look
that could
straight
kill
in the
man.
eye. And I was like,
he's gonna kill John Mark Byers
run.
now.
I was like, what the fuck? It was a scary
because
motherfucking
some
look.
people are just pure
It was
fucking evil,
scary.
and when you realize it, you see it all over them.
And then when asked about it, like who he thought was responsible for this, like what he thought happened, John Mark Byers said, quote, Terry Wayne Hobbs. I don't know how much clearer I have to make it.
Wow.
So, yeah. So what ended up happening to get these three out of jail, we're reaching the end now, so everybody can breathe.
Shit.
Was they got out of jail because at this time, as you can see, nothing was happening for them. None of their appeals.
All this crazy shit is happening on the outside, and they're like, hey,
all
what's
this
up?
evidence is being brought forward that is exonerating them, basically, and putting more people in there. They're not getting any of this. There's all these celebrities working on their side. There's this mass amount of people that are on their side just working for them, and they're just sitting there rotting in jail. So they ended up using an Alford plea. And so in November of 2010, the Arkansas State Supreme Court did order a new trial after the DNA evidence failed to connect them.
Okay.
The court ruled that they could present the new evidence at the new trial to try to say that they were innocent. So while this is all coming into fruition, this is when the Alford plea deal was coming into fruition too. So Steve Braga one of Damien's attorneys suggested that they try a very rare legal move. This is the Alford plea. So basically, it's where a defendant pleads guilty but maintains their innocence. So where this plea began, because there's always a precedent, was a 1970 Supreme Court case where Henry Alford was indicted for first-degree murder. He claimed he was innocent, and he said he was aware that witness statements and evidence would not really make him look great. And he said he was stuck in this, like, I know I'm innocent, but I know I'm going to get convicted because this is pretty damning shit, but, like, I really didn't do it. So he said he wanted to plead guilty, and he said, I pleaded guilty on second-degree murder because they said there's too much evidence, but I ain't shot no man, but I take the fault for the other man. We never had an argument in our life, and I just pleaded guilty because they said if I didn't, they would gas me for it, and that is all. I'm not guilty, but I plead guilty.
Okay.
And it's North Carolina versus Alford. So basically he was saying, I don't want to get the gas chamber, so I'm going to get the death penalty if I plead not guilty and go through this trial. So I'm just going to plead guilty so that they don't kill me, but I'm not guilty.
Okay, so he's pleading guilty while maintaining
innocence. So the Arkansas prosecuting attorney said that this deal was not awesome, but he said, quote, it certainly was not a perfect resolution in the case for the state, but it was much better than having 3 trials trying to convince 36 jurors of the defendant's guilt using old evidence, failed memories, changed minds, dead witnesses, and the parents of 2 of the victims who now say they believe the defendants are innocent of the crimes.
Right.
So this is the state saying, yeah, this plea sucks because we're going to let what we believe are 3 child murderers out.
Yeah, totally.
But, like, the other option is that all these people come forward and say that they don't believe that they did it, and that evidence proves that, and then we have to convince 36 people.
I wish they were able to do that.
It's ridiculous. So August 19, 2011, they entered the Alford plea and walked out of court free men.
Good.
But Jason said he almost said no to this deal.
Because on paper, he's still technically a murderer.
Because he said, I was ready. He said, I was not ready to plead guilty to the crime because he's like, I didn't commit it. And I won't plead guilty to it. He said and still says it wasn't justice, but he said that he did it for Damien because he said he was having such a horrible prison experience. He was like, obviously prison sucks for everybody. He was like, his experience was far in a way different than what me and Jessie's were. And he was like, his health was failing. I was worried that he was just going to die in prison.
They were going to kill him anyway.
And they were going to kill him. So he said to save Damien, he did it, but he otherwise wouldn't have agreed to it.
Right.
And the plea makes it so the 3 can't sue the state of Arkansas for imprisoning them for over 18 years for a crime they didn't commit.
I wish they fucking could.
They were imprisoned for over 18 years. Damien on death row for 18 years.
It's unbelievable.
And so now, basically, it's like, so now on paper, they are 3 convicted felons. And they
of murder.
are
3 counts of murder.
Of 3 capital murder charges. Each of child murder. Yeah. So now, like I said, Byers thinks that Terry Hobbs did it. He thinks the 3 are innocent. So does Pam Hobbs. Jason Baldwin became the co-founder of Proclaim Justice, which you can find at proclaimjustice.org. And it's a nonprofit that aids those wrongfully convicted of crimes. Once they decide to take on a case, they'll fund the reinvestigation and legal representation. Because he was like, I want to help people that were in my shoes.
Yeah.
He also was pursuing an undergraduate degree and planned to go to law school.
Wow.
Because he studied law in prison. He just wants to continue to overturn and prevent wrongful convictions. He travels everywhere speaking for the abolition of the death penalty and also the abolition of juvenile life sentences without parole, which we've covered a couple cases like that. He's married to a woman named Holly, who he met while he was in prison.
I love.
And they just like appears to be doing amazing. Damien, because he wasn't outside of a concrete cell for over a decade, his eyesight suffered immensely.
Oh, no.
It was damaged a lot. Now he has to wear sunglasses 24/7. He can't see more than a couple of feet in front of him because your eyes are like training to see far all the time, like by looking at far away things.
Right.
When you are only looking at something that's right in front of you for 10 years,
it's
your
like your eyes
stop
forget.
Training to see far.
Right.
So they can't see far anymore. What are you looking at?
I think they're in there.
So that's a little creepy pause that Ash thought she saw my kids under the door in the adjoining room where we're recording.
But they're not there.
And I just opened the door and they're downstairs.
I swear I saw feet under there.
I was like, that's creepy. So Damien has a ton of eye issues. He suffers from PTSD. He had a traumatic brain injury in prison from beatings. He said he had such constant beatings from guards that he would be, quote, pissing blood. He also said he suffered crazy teeth issues because they don't give any medical or dental care on death row. And they just told him, we can either pull them all out or you can suck it up. And he just sucked it up. By the end of his prison sentence, he had embraced Buddhism and, like I said, was meditating 5 to 7 or 8 hours a day. He married a woman named Lori Davis in prison in 1999 in a Buddhist ceremony.
Yes.
They are still married. They wrote a book together.
Yes.
They exchanged like love letters. And
stop.
She was like very successful and very like, you know, with it, and like just heard about the case, studied the case, and then messaged him in the 90s.
She IM'd him.
She sent him a letter in prison. He said that he loved that she started it by apologizing for invading his privacy by like writing him.
Yeah.
And he was like, and that just like struck me as like, that's really nice of her, because like nobody thinks of me as having any rights. So like it's nice. Right. So they're like in love and married. They live in New York City. He did live in Salem for a while, and he said if he felt like he belonged there, because it's like the epicenter of like crazy. He made a career out of the study of magic with a K.
That's cool.
He's written 3 books. The latest one was High Magic, A Guide to the Spiritual Practices That Saved My Life on Death Row. Wow. And it's basically showing people like how he survived with meditation and like ritual and all that. Mm-hmm. He does retreats that's focused on spiritual magic. He's done art. He's gotten tons of tattoos he always wanted to get with Johnny Depp and stuff.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, like he's just like, they're living their lives. They came out of here. They went in 93. They came out in 2011. They didn't know what a fucking cell phone was. Like, they had to learn everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things in West of Memphis is Holly and Jason on the couch in the hotel after he was released.
Oh, gosh.
And they're sitting there, and his mom comes. My goodness.
Oh, my God.
He opens the door, and he goes, Mom, and says it like a little boy, and hugs her. And I like wanted to die. I was crying. God. I was like, seriously, it's just the sweetest thing ever.
And he was able to hug her.
And he was able to
couldn't hug
her.
His mom for 18
And he was
fucking
so happy
years.
to see her, and she like maintained like through the whole time like he is innocent, you know.
Oh my God.
And then Holly, his wife, was saying like he was showing his mom his new suitcase.
Yeah.
And Holly said, I was so confused because I gave him this new like fancy suitcase. Yeah. And he loved it. And he said, I've never had a suitcase before.
Oh, my heart
like it's
just
and
like
she was
broke.
like, it's little things like that I don't think of. Like,
right.
And Damien said he would get up in the middle of the night sometimes and sleep in the bathroom on the floor because he just wasn't used to that much space. Like space was freaking him out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So he would get up and literally lay on the floor by himself in the bathroom to be in like a confined space.
Wow.
So it's like they had to go through so much shit coming out of there. Right. Like so much. But it seems like they're doing okay. I think Jessie had a little mishap with driving without her license.
It's okay, Jessie.
There's no update on that. But other than that, they've been staying. They've definitely. I mean, Jason and Damien are definitely thriving. I hope Jessie is too.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot on Jessie. But
that's okay.
You know, I think this is a tragic case.
Yeah.
Nobody has seen justice for these little boys' deaths. I hope somebody gives a deathbed confession, to be quite honest.
But it's like, it doesn't even matter. Like,
but that won't even be justice either.
That's the thing.
You just want to know. It's one of those like the John Bonet and stuff. You just want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you know. I don't know.
I know.
Do we know? I don't know.
I know.
But either way, that is the end of the West Memphis 3.
The West Memphis 3/4 parts.
And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope
go
you
watch
were
some documentaries.
Horrified by it. Go read Devil's Knot. Go read Damien's books. I highly recommend Life After Death, his book. Jason also wrote a book. I'm going to post all these in the show notes. Go read Mara Leverett's Devil's Knot. Go watch West of Memphis, the Paradise Lost documentaries. Don't go see Devil's Knot, the movie, because it's really bad.
Oh my God.
But,
horrible.
But definitely go look up this case and go find out all you can, because it'll blow your mind.
For real.
But yeah, so thanks for that.
Well, go ahead and follow us on Instagram to see our last post about the West Memphis 3.
At Morbid Podcast.
Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter.
At A Morbid Podcast.
Join the Facebook group.
Morbid: a true crime podcast.
Send us a Gmail.
morbidpodcast@gmail.com.
And check out our website for updates on our live shows.
morbidpodcast.com.
We hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it weird.
I also don't want to do it for this. Sorry.